12 people in the room. Let me see. You see the link. So you guys are gonna be receiving that link for the live in probably like 30, 40 minutes. So working on a couple of different platforms to use. Not sure which one we're gonna go to yet, but I have one where you guys can turn your cameras on so everybody can be seen. You can turn your microphones on. You guys can verbally ask questions and I'll hear it. I'm trying to get that set up correctly because right now, because it's going to be pictures I want to show, but I'm trying to get that straightened out with the whole chat and everything like that. It's a lot to it. So you guys will get the email pretty soon for that. For whatever platform we go on, you'll get a link and everything like that, so you guys can jump on, and it'll be cool. What's going on, everybody? D Griff, what's up? So, it's a lot of information I want to put out in this lecture. So we're gonna get straight into the information, and I'll take questions later on. That's how we're gonna set it up. So we'll probably have Ace reading out questions if we go with a different platform. But if not, it's like a feature on this one site where it's like, you raise your hand, and I could basically take questions at that time. So I'm gonna have mics cut off, but you guys have had an option to type or verbally, speak your questions. We'll have something to that effect, but I'll get more into it once we start the live. Once we get there. Jacob, what's the deal from Boston? Let me see, get more light in here. Yeah. Johnny, what's the deal from Seattle? Let me see, I'm trying to get some more people in the room. Yeah, so the link is in the description. No, NPA members do not get free access to the live. You guys got to pay. It's not on Merkabah Academy. If I would have been able to put it on Merkabah Academy, then I can gave free access. But yeah, I'm not able to put it on Merkabah Academy right now. Whole issue with that whole thing, setting it up. WordPress having issues, the plugins not working. That was the original plan, as I said in my last live, was to do it on Merkabah Academy. But yeah, it's issues with that whole thing. The plugin issues, plugin kept crashing, and I don't want to. And then people still can't log in, so I'm still waiting on WordPress to see what's going on their end. Buddy Boss provided an update that seemed to help some people. So it's like plugins and issues that's the problem with this whole thing, which is why I said before, like, I know how to create my own platform for everything I need to do. It just costs a lot of money, which I do not have, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing the live and why I put out videos to help fund that stuff, so I don't have to deal with these other people and their plugins and their software and them controlling everything, me having to wait for emails and everything like that. It's just crazy. It's bullshit. It takes a lot. You guys see most of these companies like YouTube or what have you, they have huge teams. They have a lot of equipment, a lot of people behind. That takes a lot, I have very little support for what I'm doing. So how I try to get support, I don't put up GoFundMes. I'm not begging people for money. I try to put up something like this lecture or a video to sell so people can get something for their money, for their help. So, when you guys support, that's what it goes to. It goes towards those things. I had a couple big donors and people help out with the servers. So that's cool with that. That cost me a lot of money. And it's just how it is. It's how it goes. But I appreciate everybody who do support. This lecture is on the Blackamoors and a bunch of other stuff. Let me see. Jacob, what's the deal? I'm still in Vegas. Vegas is awesome. We're at the MGM right now. Marv, Savannah, what's the deal? Yeah, so Um, it's one platform. Let me see. I have the app right here on my phone. Yeah, so the app is called Teams. So if you guys can go on your phones now, the people who's going to be attending the live, and download the app. It's called Teams. And basically, when you get the email, you'll get instructions to download that app. If we use this one, that's what it's going to be called. But the way they have it set up with sending the photos and everything is kind of stupid. So I'm trying to figure this whole thing out with that. But basically, on Teams is an app you can get for iPhone. I believe it's on Android as well. You can. I'm gonna try to stream from two different platforms, but you guys will only be able to be on one. So it's just the second shots for editing purposes. But with that one, you guys can. Matter of fact, I probably because YouTube has it, so you can do a live stream, but you can invite certain people. So everybody, I mean, you can invite certain people with the for that second shot, but it's no interaction, as you guys know. It's just weird how all this shit works. Like I said, better to have your own platform to do all this type of stuff. It's a lot that goes with that, which is why I'm trying to do all that. Yeah, the live will be available for purchase later, but you can grab it now for $24.99 because it's going to be $40 when it releases. So the link is in the description to get it for $24.99 versus $39.99. So grab it now if you want it. Charles, what's the deal from Texas? I'll actually be out there in probably a month. Joe, what's the deal? Yeah, I'm in the Bay Area a lot, X. I live out there also in LA and be in the Bay Area. Uh, love San Francisco. Chinatown is one of my favorite places to go out there. I actually used to live in Stockton for like 2 months. That's how long I lasted out there. It's fucking nuts out there. Yeah, I know. Like, I know a lot of people don't got the money for it, and I appreciate everybody. That's why I dropped the price and made it a little bit lower. But again, this is just it's about support. You know, it's about this is going towards to help us do what we need to do. Me trying to raise money to do what I need to do. I hate relying on these fucking people. Like I just hate relying on them for a little stupid shit because I feel like they're trying to just suck you dry for every little problem. And then I'm a bit of a you guys I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm always looking behind my back. I don't know who is doing what. I'm not crazy with it, but in your head it pops in your head like what the fuck is they doing? Some of the shit is like, yo, are they fucking with me or what? I would rather have my own shit and control my own shit than rely on these people. Because some of the stuff to me is like easily, you should be able to fix. I have my degree in computer science, so I code very well. I know some of the glitches and the problems. If I had access to their back end, I can fix, but I don't. So I'm waiting on these eggheads to do shit, and they dragging their feet, it seemed like. Yeah, I lived in Stockton for like 2 months, man. Stockton was crazy. Crazy up there. Yeah, like these people be trying to get you to pay for every little thing. It's already weird that WordPress allows these plugins to be added onto their site, but the support for these plugins is minimal. And then you have to they'll literally tell you to go to the plugin creator to get remedy for the situation. So with the Buddy Boss theme that I'm using for Merkabah Academy, I had to go to them and get a fix for them. And then WordPress is saying it's a Buddy Boss problem, and Buddy Boss is saying it's a WordPress issue. And then it's a part of the code that Buddy Boss found on WordPress that's like faulty, but for some reason WordPress saying they can't change that file. So it's like little issues. So now I got to go in and look at the code and find the problem. I'm actually using Chat GPT to help with the issue. It actually fixed a lot of stuff so far, but that's the issue. Like it's just crazy. It's better to just have your own platform completely. Yeah, everybody who purchased the live will get the link via email, and you guys will, once it's over and once it's edited, you guys will also get the link to download it. So you'll be able to attend live, and then you'll get the actual video when it's done editing. You'll get a link to download the video when it's done. Yeah, paranoia sometimes, man. Paranoia be real. I don't be really paranoid, just like, what the fuck? Some shit you just, you know, when you do what I do, you kind of look over your soldiers a little bit more. Yo, what's the deal, Em? Uh, yeah, it's a lot of code camps, but like somebody said yesterday, coding is good to know, but now with like Chat GPT, stuff like that, these other AI software, you don't really gonna need to know how to code. You can really just type in what you want and get the code given to you straight up. So that's really gonna help. It's gonna speed up the building of websites dramatically. Like, it's definitely gonna help out a whole lot. Yeah, don't worry about it. You guys gonna receive a link in probably about probably like 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes. Let me try to make sure I miss any. Sue Ron, what's the deal? That Trey Turner? I'm sorry, the Phillies game is on too. I'm kind of like going back and forth. Got money on the Phillies. We winning so far. Oh wow, what's the deal? Let me see. Who else on here? Let me make sure I miss nobody. And what's the deal? Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Reparations is coming. It's just like you can see the writing on the wall for it. It's going to happen. The the amount is the issue, like the award, what they're going to pay out. That's the debate. That's the problem. Like, you can't just give black people $1 million. You know, they don't want to do that shit. Um, it has to be something like probably some money, but not that much. But more so like either like tax exempt status or free college, free health care, something to that effect. I doubt they're going to give out just a shitload of money, even though some states have already given out money. I talked about that before because it's one of those things where the argument is it's not even a real argument. Like, it's this is something we can prove and something that has already been proven as far as black people being owed reparations. It's just they just dragging their feet on the whole thing. It's going to take somebody to step up and bring that to Congress, like bigger than what they have so far. Yeah, a lot of people is asking for um, issues with asking about WordPress, and it's asking for verification too much, or you got soft math problems, all kinds of shit. It's something like I said, it's something I'm trying to get around with WordPress. Yeah, yeah. It's the taxes thing is something that they talked about, but I think they're going to the states that jump on board for reparations, that first, that's why I said this before. The first offer is going to be a low ball offer to a lot of people, and it's going to be real tempting because I think they're going to trick people, because on a local level they passing it. So states are doing, they're trying to get ahead of the national law being passed, because once it's passed nationally, whatever that number or amount is, those states got to give it. But if they already gave reparations and people accepted it, they're exempt. So basically, what states trying to do, excuse me, they trying to get ahead of it. So a lot of states are saying, all right, let's offer these people this, and then let's say they say, well, we'll give you guys 80 grand, right? do you accept it? And you accept it, you're like, hell yeah, you signed the paper, you accepted it, that's done. But then that's the local level. But then let's say the nationwide, the country, the government passes a law that say, hey, we're all entitled to $1 million. Everybody who took their 80 not getting a million. So this is what's going on. So some people, some states don't want to do it because they think, people gonna figure it out and not gonna take it anyway. But then it's like it's a waiting process right now. I talked about Nvidia and stock market final, but yeah, Nvidia is tops right now. They're killing. They're in the $1 trillion club, and they making crazy money. But there's something we already knew what's going to happen with them. They've been at the forefront of technology for a long time. They have a lot coming up. They're going to. I think there's going to be a big merger with them that's going to put them at the top of the game. Yeah, it's actually a couple companies trying to acquire them now, but Nvidia done got too big where they don't need nobody. Microsoft put up a lot of money to open AI and help those guys bring us a lot of new stuff. And then Microsoft is about to leapfrog everybody as far as like open AI stuff like Chat GPT and stuff like that. So they're coming out with new stuff. Google is coming out with new stuff because Google now, basically, when everybody get wind of what Chat GPT can do, all they got to do is promote it more, and nobody's gonna want to use Google after that because it's just way better to use that than Google. So yeah, it's a lot of competition and fighting going on for our position right now, and everybody want a piece of AI, which is I talked about in stock market final. You'll see what's about to happen with that whole thing. So what reparations, what the individual states is doing is just looking at presidents for something like this. I mean, you got to think about it. This never really happened before in America, as far as people getting reparations, except for like what happened with the internment camps for the Asians, after World War II. They imprisoned a lot of those people in internment camps, and then they paid them a shitload of money after. And then they're trying to do something along those lines, like what's fair, or what can be given. Of course, uh, for slavery and everything else, Jim Crow and all that bullshit. Whoa, that dollar figure is like hundreds of millions they owe us. Like, I mean, you can't even put a fucking number on it. Like, it's like infinite. Like, I mean, it's completely crippled a generation of people, generations, even still to this day. You know what I'm saying? So like the dollar figure is, they don't have that kind of money. They don't have that kind of money to pay us what we're really owed. But it's more so of putting a system in place like we should have had. So think about it. If Freeman's Bank, if they didn't cripple that bank, man, we would be equal with them, probably surpass them. I think we'd be surpassed. I think we'd be on top. Because what that bank was supposed to do was us have a black bank that was going to loan us the money we need to do what they did. And remember, during that time, we was way smarter. I mean, look at what happened with Black Wall Street. So you seen where the intellect was with Black Wall Street. This is where we was headed. But we ain't have no banks. We ain't have no backing. Luckily, those black people was able to make the kind of money they did. They was basically doing what Garvey was doing. And let me see. And yeah, so if we would have kept Freedmen's Bank and had those black banks in place, because we probably would have opened up a bunch more smaller black banks, once that bank succeeded. And we would have had the funding we need for housing. So our grandparents or great grandparents would have been able to buy a house, own their house, and then pass it down. And then we would have had generational wealth where we are today. And we wouldn't be living in poverty. So to me, we're old at, of course, but they need to create a private bank for black people specifically, to where we can go and get loans and get money for what we need to get money for to be funded. Even though we can do that still now today, but we all know we discriminated on. It's just a lot of bullshit. I think if you come to a bank with a plan, you should be able to get funding for it if everything is legit. Yeah, like they gave out. I mean, when you look at the history on just global history, so many groups of people been given so much money. you know, for reparations and stuff like that. Stuff for black people. We're the only people who haven't been paid. So, excuse me. If they follow that plan, if they follow the way they've been giving out money, then we should be cut a big check. And this is something that was brought up already in the Senate, well, in Congress, about, and I said this before as well, uh, giving black people that money, giving us the money, will change. It would just basically give a major boost to the economy because we are the #1 spenders in the country. Nobody buys and spends more than us. It would boost the economy to a major level, and you don't know what we're going to do with the money. We're going to spend money, but we're going to open businesses. We're going to pay off our homes and own homes. We're going to be able to pass down generational wealth. We'll be set. And they just come with what the issue with that is, where are they going to get that money from? We know where they can get the money from. We know they got the money. But the thing is to make it work on paper for everybody to accept. That's the tough part because it's going to be problems with people accepting that. And then it's you had a lot of people who came here from different countries. What would be the criteria to qualify for this money? Because not all black people come from enslaved ancestors. Remember, the North was free. You had a lot of black people over here that was prominent, that had money, that had wealth. But that's the slavery aspect of it. But we can also go and look towards the Jim Crow part of it and just racism itself and say that, hey, black people deserve compensation, period, no matter, who your ancestors was, because we can still look towards not just slavery, but Jim Crow, racism, the fact that we know we had KKK cops and judges and racist politicians and all that who have hindered the progression of black people for decades. So this is proven already. It already been brought up. And it's just up to them to keep pushing it and bring something to the Senate that, the president can sign. And that's the issue right now. Nobody wants to push that whole thing. Nobody wants to really take it that far. Oh, that was some good questions. Let me go back. Enzo, what's the deal? What? Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, they need to just cut the check. But I was reading, and I talked about this in the previous video. What I was reading about what they're trying to do as far as get reparations out, it's a lot, man. It's a lot of pushback on it because you got a lot of politicians who just believe that this government does not owe the descendants of slaves any money at this present time. That's their argument because what happened took place hundreds of years ago, and this people and this government, now are not responsible for that. But it was a different government when they gave the people from the internment camps the money. So it's a different government. Same when the Jews got money. That's just a cop out. The issue is they don't want white folks to be upset about the government spending a shitload of money to give black people their money for something that happened a long time ago. And it's racism. It's just that simple. It's racism. Mel, what's the deal? Matthew, what's the deal? Yeah, like it's a lot of people who tackle the reparations thing. I mean, it's just something that has to be done, and I believe it will be done. I think it'll be done soon. It'll be done in our lifetime. It's just something that has to be done. It's already states that gave out money, and it's something that is being pushed because I mean, look how long it's been, and the fact that redlining is a fact. Everybody knows about redlining. I mean, that fact alone that you had the U.S. government give these construction companies extra money to not allow black people to buy their homes. I mean, that's governmental right there. The government has been hugely involved in the oppression of black people, which we all know that. And it's been laws passed, and that's where we get in at, where we can make our case that there's been actual laws passed to hinder the progression of African American people, of black people. So that's from our government. So it doesn't matter like what time frame that was or what have you. That's still a government entity that did that, and when it was done, it caused the fall of a lot of people. So that has to be remedied, and that's the talk that's in you know the argument of this whole thing because a lot of white folks what they do is they look to entertainment. So they look to entertainment and say, well, y'all got Denzel and Will Smith, y'all got 50 Cent, y'all got Oprah and Jay-Z and all these entertainers that's stinking rich, and they look at all these hip hop stars with all this money they flashing, not doing shit for other black people. They look at that and say, y'all doing well. What are you talking about? And yeah, not thinking about who it's billions of us. So yeah, the live is going to start. Excuse me. The live is probably going to start around 7 o'clock. So for everybody that had brought that's on there, I'm gonna say between. I'll let you guys know in the email. When the email goes out, you'll have the correct time. So that's when I'll start. When the email comes with the link and everything like that, you guys will be able to know time because I'm looking between 6:30 and 7:30, somewhere in that time frame. But we're gonna for anybody that comes in late, we're gonna go through the information and reiterate. So you guys won't miss nothing. Yeah, they got the money, and then we don't even got to look at gold, the amount of gold, and the fact that they can print the money. It's the fact that we're in a digital currency age right now, where you could just type in the numbers. Like, I mean, it's the same thing they did with basically a stimulus package, but it just would be for African Americans. Same deal. It's not hard. Trust me. It's not a problem with getting the money. It's just them doing it. The money ain't a problem. Like we give away billions tens of billions of dollars a year we give away in foreign aid to other countries. It's not a problem for them to delegate that money towards reparations. They got the money. Yeah, rich blacks can't give away their money. Already, it's a lot to that. Yep. Let me see. It's a good question. Yeah, that's my point. Like, if they give out the money to black people anyway, it's just gonna boost the economy. Like, and that's a proven thing. So, uh, it will boost the economy. It's going to change hands. Everybody's going to eat. Everybody's going to get paid, and then you know it's not a big deal. It's just like black people got to do the right thing. If they do put out that kind of money, you got to do the right thing with that money. So it's no excuse if they give everybody $1 million and people just they broke in a year. So the issue is this: you give all black people in this country $1 million, we're not going to be able to drive down the street. I'm not talking about getting robbed or nothing like that. We talking about every able-bodied black person who can get a driver's license and drive is going to buy a car. So that's a lot more cars on the road. It's a lot more accidents. That's a lot more shit. That's something to think about. There's a lot that go into it that people don't really think about as far as like giving the money away. It's why they balance the rich and the poor, because if everybody who's old enough, to go buy a car or a house or have money or what have you, if you made all those people rich and had money, like again, traffic would be nuts. It would be like a war. It would be it would be too much. Too many people have money. Probably too many businesses. Like who knows? It's other economic things you got to think about when you decide to give a bunch of people money like that, and what's going to be done with that money. Then of course where they mind at. They like, oh, how many of them going to buy like a buttload of fucking guns and drugs with the money? Oh, they just going to fucking commit bigger crimes with the money. All kinds of shit. It's just a lot of stuff that's in the way of that. Not just the money itself. Because if they could just give us the money and with a guarantee that this money would benefit everybody, they would do it. Yeah, like it's no way for them to really determine who is who, who is a descendant of slaves. Like there's no way for them to really determine that, because not everybody we don't have access to our family history that go back that far. Yeah, that's the issue. So it's a lot of people who don't have those records. So, and that was my point before, because even still, if you can just prove you was in this country in the 60s, or your family go back to the 60s, 50s, that's good enough. Because we know it's just been so many, even still, not even that far, just period. Even still to this day, there's so much racism and oppression going on that if you lived in this country for the last 5 years and you black, you should get paid. Plain and simple. Yeah, the lecture is on the Blackamoors and a few other topics, but mostly the Blackamoors we're going to talk about. The Moors, the Blackamoors, which basically, well, we'll get into that whole thing. Mm-mm-mm. Let me see. One second, Merkabah. Yeah, so there's my Cash App. So for the people who ask. Yeah. Uh, that's what they say. Black population is around 50 million. I think it's a little bit more than that. We'll see. Because, man, I think they lying about the numbers anyway. We don't even fucking know. They say more Hispanics than anybody else, Spanish people, but we don't know, especially in the West Coast. But we don't know what the real numbers is. Let's say 50 million, and you want to give 50 million people, $1 million, man. They still got it. That's the thing. They still got the money. Like, that's not the problem. I think it's going to come down to something like tax exempt status, or probably like free housing or something like that. Probably like uh, based upon the money, your income or something like that, you can't get denied for a home loan, something to that effect. It's going to be something like that, like home loan, no money down, something like that, or tax free. And then it's going to be, I think it's going to be money, but it's not going to be nothing crazy. It's probably going to be something like 50 grand or 20, 30 grand or something like that. I don't think it's going to be anything over 100,000. I think it'd be something like that. So it'll probably be something like tax exempt status, free health care, free college, and probably like no money down home loan or something like that. Like I think that's what they're gonna drum it up to. Uh, it just makes more sense. They're not gonna give out what we're owed. Something is better than nothing. But as far as giving us what we owe, they're not gonna be able to do that. Like I mean, they owe us really, literally. The fact that we have $1 trillion companies that exist, I think they owe us trillions of dollars, seriously, because we can't get to that point because of what they've done. We can't get to $1 billion status because of what they're done. And the people who are black billionaires are in because they let them in, and we all know that. Yeah, companies got rich, people got rich. There's so many companies that go back to slave times. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Virtual, that's funny. 40 acres in an EV. I'm with that. Yeah. Tax exemption so other races can mix in. And hey, that's a good point because that's probably one of the reasons why they're doing what they're doing. So, all the people who mix in can end up benefiting from what they're going to give black folks. TDS, I appreciate it. Yeah. Um, a lot of slave owners, believe it or not, got money once slavery was abolished. It was they was getting. That's why they changed everything with the when they redid the Constitution and everything like that. When they basically changed everything, so they made it so people couldn't get money anymore for loss of slavery, a loss of slaves, because that was something that was actually going on. Yeah, if you can put your kid in a private school, definitely do it. Public schools is just training for prison. They set up like prisons. It's just weird how that shit is run, how it looks. It's so cold and sterile, and it don't look good. I recommend private schools anyway. If you can afford to put your kids in one, or if you can find a good one, definitely do so. Homeschool if you can. That's probably the best way. But even if you send them to school, no matter what school, make sure you homeschooling as well and talking to your kids about what's going on and be involved in what they bringing home because they be bringing home some crazy shit and those history papers be nuts. Oh, like slavery was just a misunderstanding. Crazy shit out there. Yeah, exactly. So that whole $5 Indian thing was real, and a lot of people got money and land off of faking Native American status because when that whole thing got passed, they just left it open. So they basically passed a law for people who are tribal members to go ahead and receive reparations. You might as well say money for being Native American. The problem was they wiped out a lot of those people, and a lot of those people don't read the newspaper or was anywhere near where they can get the information to go collect this money. So what happened was, and they knew this. So what happened was a lot of white folks just walked in there, white as hell, claiming they was from Indian tribes. They didn't require them to bring any type of proof or anything like that, and it was giving these people uh, tax exempt status and all kinds of freaking benefits that a lot of them still have today. There's so many people who I've been around and seen here that's white as snow claiming to be Native Americans. And they believe it because this happened so long ago, and they had their family members coming up believing that they was a part of this tribe. So I can't even fault them. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren is a good example. But Elizabeth Warren is good. She definitely did a lot of cool shit for black folks. I can say that. Yeah, yeah, they got feathers and all. Yep. Yeah, that Morris video I put out is definitely a lot of insight into some of the stuff we're gonna be talking about. But it's a lot of stuff that, I didn't get to put into that video. No, Crawley didn't sacrifice no children. That's all. That is metaphorical to something that's way deeper. When you talk about that, so that's it's a lot to get into with that. That's metaphorical. I won't get into it in this video, but we'll get into that. I was going to do. Somebody told me I was told not to do it, but I was going to do this video on rituals, but it probably would have been a bad idea. I'm not trying to, fuck with their shit. Musa, what's the deal? Sorry about that. Yeah, it's a lot of mixed kids. Mixed kids all over the world. I told you that's the thing. When I was in Europe, I seen it a lot. Mulatto children is like a thing. It's talked about. Mixed race kids is a big deal in a lot of countries. It's just on the hush hush, mainstream. But if you go there and you live in there, you're around the people, that's a big deal. A lot of people want mixed kids or what have you. Okay, so all right, guys, I gotta go real quick, but I'm gonna jump back. All right, guys, I gotta go real quick, but I'm gonna jump back on here and do a quick. We're gonna do with Ace Cloud. Uh, we're gonna do a quick live before we begin. So I'll be back on YouTube probably in like an hour for another live before we begin. So I'll be back on YouTube probably in like an hour for another live. I'll let you guys know. But peace. Make sure you guys donate to that Cash App. I'll be right back.